Homelessness is just one of the many issues the city of San Diego is facing. Tonight, I'm joined live in studio by Mayor Todd Gloria, fresh back just a couple hours ago from a trip to Washington, D.C. And he's here to answer your questions. Mayor, we have seen more incidents like the one that we just watched involving homeless people. These are incidents that are violent. They're attacks, many of them captured on cell phone video, some on surveillance video. We interviewed a man in Ocean Beach who said that he was attacked after he refused to give someone money. And then after that story aired, we started receiving all these emails from people saying similar things have happened to them and they feel threatened. Yeah. And there's kind of a shift in the way that we look at people who are homeless. At what point, we want to be compassionate to those who are homeless and need help, but at one point, do you also need to protect the public?
Well, that's our first responsibility. I want to be very clear, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. Lawlessness will not rule the day in our city. Public safety is our top priority. This is why we fully funded our police department. And any crime, regardless of whether you're homeless or not, will be prosecuted. And so some of the cases you just mentioned, we have arrest warrants out for those individuals, and we ask the public to report these crimes so we can hold people accountable, again, regardless of their housing status.
Are there cases when it's fitting to put someone into mental health services? It's hard to help someone that doesn't want to be helped.
It's true. And you may remember back in January, in my State of the City address, I called for behavioral health reform at the state level. And Marcelo, we got the biggest change in 60 years in California state law when it comes to behavioral health care court. We had our first establishment meeting for it this past week. San Diego County will be the first large county in California to implement this about middle of next year. This is substantive and important, but it's not enough. I've already said very clearly that we will ask for additional changes because we do have a subset of the population that is too mentally ill or too deep in addiction to accept the care and services that we provide. And it's a part of what you're seeing with some of these instances where people are acting very erratically. Sometimes it bleeds into criminal behavior, but some of it is simply poor social services, and we have to do better. I'm glad that California passed Care Court, but more has to get done.
So do we have enough officers on the streets? There have been people who have said they had to hold down someone who was homeless for 45 minutes before there was response. People want to feel safe walking around, and they don't want to, change their lifestyle much. Right. But is there enough response? Nor should they have to. Be
very clear. Nor should they have to. With regard to your direct question, we need more officers. We have fully funded our police department, so it's not a matter of resources; it's a matter of bodies. We are seeing nationally a trend of folks leaving law enforcement, and so we're having to step up our recruitment efforts. And this is where your viewers, if they're able-bodied and willing, we have academies. The good news, Marcella, is our academies have been full with high-quality candidates that will soon be joining the ranks and hitting patrol. But we need more. And the best people to police communities are the people who live in those communities, and we invite people's participation. It's a great career that we think you can be proud of.
Is there a shortage right now?
Yeah, we have vacancies in our department, more than I would like, more than Chief Nislight would like, but this is representative of what's happening nationally. And again, I think that when you look at the fact that our academies are recruiting high quality, high caliber individuals, and that we're getting the numbers that we want, that's encouraging. But the problem is the number of people joining the department are sometimes outweighed by the number of folks leaving the department through retirement and through other forms of attrition.
All right, let's change gears and talk about the fentanyl crisis. I know you recently issued an executive order to address this deadly crisis. What exactly does that entail? How are we combating this fight?
Well, these are two connected issues, right? A part of our homelessness crisis is being supercharged by fentanyl, and I want San Diegans to understand this because I'm concerned that they don't fully grasp how large this issue is. What the executive order does, number one, is highlight it, educate the general public to the hundreds of San Diegans that are dying each year, including over 100 homeless people just last year alone. Beyond that, what it does is direct the police department to prioritize enforcement efforts against dealers. We know that dealers are preying on our children, on our unsheltered population, and other vulnerable folks. We want those folks arrested and off the streets. Directs our government affairs department to work with our state and federal legislators to pass new laws to make higher penalties, more accountability. And a part of my trip to Washington, D.C. this week was to lobby the Congress to get fentanyl classified a permanent Schedule I drug. This would be the highest level of control. Funnily enough, it does not enjoy that status. It only has a temporary Schedule I status. I think that's wrong. Clearly, fentanyl is killing people all across this country. It's not a San Diego only issue. This is a national issue.
And such a small amount it takes to be deadly.
One pill can kill, and that is what's happening. You've done these stories on this station. People of all walks of life. This is not just poor people or just kids. Everyone is into this, and that's why I, as mayor, had to ring the alarm to let people know this is real and to do everything I can under my power to try and address this issue and to invite others in law enforcement at our state and federal level of government to participate as well. We've got to take this seriously. It is killing people.
All right, we have a couple minutes left. I want to talk about the drought and some decisions that were made that raised a little eyebrows. We are being told to conserve every day, and yet 250 million gallons of good water from Lake Hodges was released into the San Diego River rather than being released into other reservoirs to be used by San Diegans. What are you going to do to make sure that that doesn't happen again?
Well, let's be really clear. This is an extremely extraordinary circumstance. What we have is a 104-year-old dam, and it's showing its age. The state of California regulates dams. They notified the city of San Diego that we need to draw down the level of water in order to maintain safety down the river. So we had to do that. We had to do that very quickly. The news was that the other reservoirs where normally we can pump that extra water to for storage are full.
Okay.
And so there was no place else to put it, so we had to release it again because the state was enforcing us to do this in order to maintain public safety. That's of course why we would do it. This is extraordinary. It does not happen very frequently, and we don't anticipate it happening again. But this is problematic. We have to get state resources to help rebuild this dam. Okay. It's over 100 years old. I would say the taxpayers got their money's worth out of this dam.
Okay.
It's time for us to repair or replace it.
So it's the infrastructure, basically. And
Absolutely.
then quickly, we have only about a minute left. I know you just returned. You've been up since 2 in the morning, flying back from our nation's capital. What was the thing that you're bringing back to San Diego with the biggest changes that?
Well, a couple of reasons for going was one was to participate in a national housing conference. San Diego was being highlighted for the leadership we're showing on housing production. I was proud to encourage other cities to follow our lead. Secondly, the Congress is in its lame duck session. They are passing appropriation bills. We want to get our fair share of federal resources, and so articulating for that. And lastly was a push with regard to border security. There are some changes coming to asylee processing on our southern border and making sure that border cities like San Diego are heard. I had an opportunity to meet one-on-one with U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas. Great partner for San Diego. We're in regular communication, and whatever changes may happen on the border, that meeting will surely accrue to San Diego's benefit. All
right, sounds like a good trip. Mayor Gloria, thank you so much for joining us after just flying in a couple hours ago from the East Coast. Appreciate you.
My pleasure.